Today, we're diving deep into one of the most influential works in philosophy. We'll talk about a short Meditations by Marcus Aurelius book summary and analysis explained in short. This isn't just any book. It's a collection of private thoughts from one of the most powerful men in history. A Roman emperor who, despite ruling the known world, struggled with personal challenges and sought guidance through Stoic philosophy. Let's break it down book by book. But if you have just a spare second, please leave a like now as your daily good action. Book 1. Gratitude and Humility. In the opening book, Marcus spends time reflecting on the people who shaped his life and helped him become the man he was. But here's the twist: he wasn't writing for anyone else. It was all for himself. His way of saying, "Hey, I'm not perfect, but here's what I've learned." He starts by thanking his family and mentors for teaching him patience, humility, and honesty. From his father, he learned the importance of integrity. From his grandfather, the value of kindness and moderation. And from others, he learned to embrace reason over passion. It's a powerful reminder. Gratitude doesn't just boost your mood, it shapes your character. But Marcus wasn't just collecting life lessons. He was actively working on himself every day, as we all should. He was reflecting on his behavior and ensuring he didn't fall into the trap of vanity or selfishness. These were not just personal musings, they were actionable reminders for every day. Book 2. The Nature of Life and the Importance of Reflection. As we move into Book 2, Marcus starts to talk more about the nature of life, death, and change. He didn't mince words. Life is fleeting. We all die, and death doesn't play favorites. It comes for us all, no matter how rich, powerful, or famous we are. Sounds heavy, right? But for Marcus, this was the foundation for clarity and purpose. One of his key reflections here is about accepting life as it is. He constantly reminded himself, what happens, happens for a reason. Whether it's a setback or a triumph, every event is an opportunity to practice virtue, patience, resilience, or courage. And it's about understanding that no one is immune to the chaos of life. The universe doesn't revolve around us. He also touches on how easy it is to get distracted by petty things, our daily irritations, worries, and frustrations. Marcus told himself, don't let the world mess with your peace. Instead, focus on the bigger picture. The Stoic belief is, life is happening whether we like it or not, so why not face it with grace? Book 3. Overcoming the Evil of Others. Here, Marcus brings up an important theme: the evil actions of others. We've all dealt with toxic people, and Marcus gives some wise advice. Don't let their negativity affect you. He argued that people who do evil things are simply ignorant of what is truly good and virtuous. Rather than getting upset, Marcus reminded himself to respond with patience and understanding. Think about it. How often do we get worked up over other people's actions? Whether it's gossip, lies, or just rude behavior, it's easy to get dragged down. But Marcus said, the best revenge is not to be like that. Don't let their bad actions compromise your principles. And here's where Stoic thinking kicks in. The idea that everything is interconnected. What injures the hive injures the bee. By harming others, you harm yourself. It's a beautiful reminder that empathy, not revenge, is the best way to live in harmony. Book 4. Fame and the Meaning of Life. Now let's talk about fame and ambition. Marcus had no illusions about the fleeting nature of fame. In fact, he often reminded himself that the pursuit of fame and the desire for praise were ultimately futile. Consider that as the heaps of sand piled on one another hide the former sands, so in life, the events which go before are soon covered by those which come after. He knew that fame fades. People who are praised today are forgotten tomorrow. Even the most celebrated individuals will eventually be lost to time. So why spend your life chasing approval from others? Marcus argued that we should focus on doing good, not because we want to be recognized, but because it's our duty. In Book 4, he draws attention to desires that distract us from virtue. Desiring fame, wealth, or status can lead to immoral behavior. It's all about checking your priorities. Do you want to be a good person, or do you want to be famous? Book 5, The Impermanence of All Things. Book 5 is all about change. Marcus was a big believer in the constant flux of life. Everything changes, and that's just part of the natural order. He saw death as a part of that change, nothing more, nothing less. We're born, we live, and we die. It's the natural cycle of things, and we can either fear it or embrace it. The Stoic mindset teaches us not to fear change, but to accept it. Can anything that is useful take place without change? Marcus asks. Change, even death, is just another part of nature's course, and we need to be at peace with it. He also cautioned against resisting life's natural flow. We can't control everything, but we can control how we respond to what happens. Instead of fighting change, embrace it, learn from it, and grow through it. Book 6, Mastering the Mind. In Book 6, Marcus talks about mastering the mind. Our perception of events, he says, is what truly determines whether we're happy or miserable. Life itself doesn't harm us. It's our reaction to life that does. This is one of the most empowering messages in Meditations. Marcus often reminded himself, choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. This is a core Stoic idea. We have the power to control how we respond to external events. Pain, frustration, and anger only take hold if we let them. The key here is not to ignore our emotions, but to train ourselves to step back and assess them. Is this really worth your time? Are you reacting according to your principles, or are you just reacting emotionally? Mastering the mind, according to Marcus, is the ultimate form of self-discipline. Book 7, The Value of Reflection. Marcus Aurelius spent a lot of time reflecting on his life and the lessons he'd learned. This book emphasizes the importance of regularly assessing one's thoughts and actions. Stoicism, for Marcus, was a constant practice, like journaling every day, reminding yourself of your goals, and ensuring you're on the right path. By constantly reminding himself of his duties and values, Marcus was able to stay grounded despite the chaos around him. It wasn't about being perfect. It was about being mindful of the kind of person he wanted to be. Book 8, Understanding the Flow of Life. In Book 8, Marcus reminds himself of the interconnectedness of life. Everything is a part of the greater whole, and everything has a purpose, even the most painful events. He reflects on how our judgments can cloud our understanding of this interconnectedness, urging himself to live with clarity, compassion, and without bias. The book explores the cyclical nature of life, reinforcing that everything, our lives, our struggles, and our joys, contributes to the cosmic order. Book 9, Maintaining Integrity in the Face of Challenges. Book 9 is a reminder that external events don't define us. What matters is how we choose to respond. Marcus faces the tension between maintaining his personal integrity and dealing with challenges, whether those come from his role as emperor or from the world at large. He uses the book to reinforce the Stoic virtues of courage, patience, and justice, advising himself to remain true to these virtues no matter the external circumstances. He also emphasizes that it's not the external world that creates turmoil, but our internal reactions to it. By focusing on our internal responses, we can cultivate inner peace, no matter what life throws at us. Book 10, Contemplating Human Nature. In Book 10, Marcus dives deep into human nature, including the behaviors of others. He recognizes that people can act out of ignorance, and it is not his role to judge them harshly. Instead, he seeks to maintain his own integrity, offering compassion and understanding. Here, he also reflects on the nature of the soul and the inevitability of death. He reminds himself to not get attached to anything transient, like material wealth or fleeting pleasures, and to focus on what's truly important, living virtuously. Book 11, Reflecting on the Role of the Rational Mind Book. 11 is a philosophical meditation on reason. Marcus reaffirms his belief in the importance of rational thinking as a guide to navigating life. He insists that reason allows us to distinguish between what is in our control and what isn't. He also meditates on the meaning of existence, the role of the soul, and how to live in harmony with the universe. He frequently reminds himself that by remaining rational and focused on what truly matters, one can overcome adversity. Book 12, The Final Reflections. In the final book, Marcus reflects on his life and the meaning of death. He reminds himself that life is temporary, and all things, including his own existence, will eventually pass. However, instead of fearing death, he advises himself to accept it as a natural process, something beyond human control. By understanding that our time is limited, we are better able to appreciate life and focus on living virtuously. He ends the book with a reminder to stay humble and to always seek to improve oneself. His reflections in this final book tie back to the central Stoic theme, focusing on virtue, living according to reason, and accepting the inevitability of change and mortality. Marcus Aurelius's Stoic wisdom can be summarized in the idea that our purpose is to live with integrity and serenity, regardless of the external circumstances. Conclusion. Final thoughts on Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Meditations serves as a guide not only to personal growth, but to how we can live in harmony with the world around us. The teachings of Marcus Aurelius remind us that while we cannot control everything that happens in life, we can control how we respond. This book offers profound insights on dealing with adversity, maintaining inner peace, and focusing on the present moment. The 12 books together cover a wide range of Stoic principles, from the power of thought, to the importance of accepting the flow of life, to contemplating human nature, and finally, understanding the importance of living virtuously and embracing death. Marcus's meditations are as relevant today as they were in the 2nd century, offering timeless wisdom for anyone seeking to live a life of peace, purpose, and resilience.